This is
time to light it up.
there's more.
What is... Kill me now.
Ready? Good!
Oh my God!
Hello, boys! I'm back!
And here's how it works.
Time to make the donuts.
Welcome back to Box Office Maniacs. I'm back. Merry Maniacs is back. It's not Box Office Maniacs. It's actually Merry Maniacs this month. And as Vince said in the other video, we kind of played around with Merry Maniacs last year. And I think even the year before that we played around with it a little bit. But we never really put, as much effort in there as we did, say, Horror Month. Because that's one of the big months we have, obviously. We did, I think, 65, 67 videos in 31 days for October, which was absolutely insane. But we did it, and eventually Merry Maniacs will, I think, be in that category. But this year, I don't think it's going to be that way. Last year, I think we did like 14 reviews, and I don't know how many we're going to be doing this year. I got some to do myself here. Obviously, this is why I'm on here talking to you. Now, first off, I want to talk about this first video here I'm doing for Merry Maniacs. Is all about what I've been doing since I've been gone, and the book that I've been writing, and the updates for that, and all this stuff that I've been, that's just, has been going on. Before we start anything else, you can see I have a new setup here. I'm not crazy about the new setup I have, but my actual camera that I was using quit working. So now I had to figure out a new way to make videos, and this is it. And this is why this big microphone's here, and hopefully the audio is even better with this microphone, better than it was last time I was using the camera. But the thing is, when you're making videos, you're sort of get in your comfort zone. Back of the basement is where my studio is, and I can sit down, and I've done dozens and dozens and hundreds of videos back there. And it's, I'm used to it. But now that I'm sort of like, this is almost like a cockpit. I feel like I'm in sort of, an enclosed area. I got 700,000 lights around me and a different green screen back here. And I don't know, it's not as, I'm not in my comfort zone yet. But the more videos I do this way, I think I'll be okay. Alright, so first off, let's talk about my book. That's what this video is going to be about. I took off, as you know, if you've watched my video of me leaving, to work on my book and work on some other projects I had going on, working on my drawing, working on all this stuff. And the truth of it is, once I left the channel to work on this stuff, I couldn't work on it. It was one of those things, it was so much of a distraction not doing this channel anymore that I couldn't really concentrate on my writing. And that sounds really weird, because I enjoy doing this so much, and it's like if I'm not doing it, I have a hard time concentrating on something I'm trying to actually do. And I think it actually hurt my writing more than it helped leaving the channel, to tell you the truth. For example, let me try to explain to you what it's like writing a book. Okay, imagine yourself on this dark highway, and you're just driving down this desolate, dark highway with just your headlights out in front of you, and the hum of your tires and your motor, and that's all you're hearing. And you feel very comfortable. You know where you're going, and you know where the highway is, taking you. But as you keep driving and driving and driving, the highway starts looking unfamiliar, and you don't know where you're at anymore. And then by the time you get towards the end of the highway, you are starting to get afraid, because you're like, okay, where am I? What am I doing? I've been driving down this highway for 4 days, or, for a year, and now you're there at the end of this highway, and you're there at the end of your destination, but now you don't know where to go, and you don't know anything around you, and nothing looks familiar to you anymore. And that's what writing is sort of like. Once you get towards the end of this book, or any book that you're writing, unless you already have written out a plan of where this book is taking you, once you get to the end of it, you're like, okay, now what do I do? And there's a lot of thought process. And again, it's a very lonely thing to do because you're writing it by yourself in a locked room usually. Or like me, the only time I had to write it was on my breaks up at work. Literally is when I would work on this book. I'm still working on it. It's still at the end of it. However, with that said, when I decided I was going to come back to doing this channel for December, it seemed like it kind of, took a pressure off. And I was driving to work the other day, and the entire end of the book came to me, just out of nowhere. And it does that too. If you're writing something and you're thinking about, okay, I don't know how all this stuff gets connected and where all this stuff goes and how it ends up being where it needs to be, you just have to stop and listen to what you have written already. And usually the book will tell you, okay, this is it, you idiot. This is what you're supposed to be doing. What are you doing over here? You're supposed to be going back over this direction. And it will. The book will tell you where to go and how to write it. I mean, you just have to listen to it. And I know all this sounds really weird if you've never written a book or if you have no interest in writing or reading or anything. But your characters in your book, even though you are creating them, they do take over. And they do have a life on their own. And sometimes you're writing stuff and they'll do unexpected things. Even though you're there, but you're not there, because your characters will take over for you, and they will do unexpected things, and unexpected things will happen in the book, and that's what makes writing so fun, is you are creating characters, you're creating a world that these characters live in, but they're alive. I mean, they're on a page, on a book, but in your head, they're alive, and when you're writing them, they come alive, and they do things that you're like, okay, what are you doing here? Why are you doing this? Even though you are part of the process, these characters pull away from you, and they do whatever they want to do, and you sometimes don't have control over it. And that's what this newest book has been. It's literally been an uphill battle trying to get to the end of this thing, because it is a ghost book. It's about ghosts, and there isn't much out there about ghosts. And when I decided to write the book is because I've very, very strongly believe that there are ghosts out there. There are supernatural things out there, because I've experienced them myself. I've firsthand experienced some supernatural activity several times, and maybe for next horror month we might, get into some ghost stories or something. Or if you want to hear them, I'll make a video letting you hear some of my ghost stories. But that's one of the reasons this book is so personal to me, because I believe in this stuff. I do believe in the supernatural. I do believe in ghost and poltergeist and all this stuff, because I've experienced it myself. So with that being said, the book is going really well now. It is on the path to the end, which is still probably another 40 or 50 pages away. But I can feel that, I'm basically like going down the steps to the final part of the book now. I mean, it's all set up in front of me, and it's already written, and I just got to sit down and finish it, basically. And hopefully I will get some extra time here and get it done. With that being said, too, Merry Maniacs may not have that many videos. I wanted to come back and do videos, but again, I'm finishing this and doing this, which is fine, but, sometimes one or the other is going to have to balance out. And one of my favorite things about writing, too, is doing the book covers. I love doing the book covers. And I have been working on this book cover for a while, and the title for the book, that's the other thing, is I usually don't have a problem with naming my books. I kind of already know what the name of the book is before I get done writing it. But this one, I had no idea. I really had no clue until probably over halfway through, and then I had different titles. I had 3 different titles for it, but I finally settled on the one title I like, and I believe I have the cover done for it now too. So now all it has to do is just get it finished, and hopefully maybe within the next month, maybe in January, maybe before the new year, I will have the next book out. And I really got to say, all the people who supported me on the comments and understand, what it's like to try to get stuff done and not have any time of the day, and you guys are awesome, and that's why I missed this channel, is because I miss communicating with you guys, because you're so awesome, and I love reading your comments, and I love hearing what you think about all the stuff that we're doing on here and everything. And like I said, you guys are just so cool, and I really miss the interaction between you guys and the channel. So that's it. I mean, the book is going really well, and I have written, up to this point, I think it's been about 6 books now, and I will put all those books into the description box below if you ever feel like reading them, picking them up, maybe buying them for somebody who likes books. Say, hey, I know this guy who wrote this book. And they're all separate books. It's very weird, because it's like, the first book is sort of a Conan-like novel with a female lead, and then right after that, I was going to do a sequel to that, but never got around to doing it. So the next, I wrote a supernatural erotica book, and there was 3 short books that are now into a larger, complete volume. And I actually wrote those under a pen name, under a female pen name, which, you'll see it, and I'll put a link below. And then I ended up writing a werewolf detective novel, which I really enjoyed, and I think a lot of people think that's probably their favorite book of mine that I've written. And right after that, I wrote a prequel to that, which took place in the same world that the detective lived in, and that was a lot of fun, a lot of work. And now this newest one has nothing to do with any of those. It's a complete standoff alone book by itself, and it's a lot of fun to kind of pull away from those worlds. One last thing I can say is these worlds that I'm creating in these books are worlds that I want to live in. They are places that I would like to exist in. I mean, I think a lot of writers would do that, because I can get pulled away from reality and go into something that I've created that I would love to live in. I would love to live in this town that the kids are in here in my newest book. I would love to live in the world of the monsters and the vampires and all that stuff that was in my detective novel, and even the first novel that I wrote, which was so violent and so disgusting. Even in that kind of world, it would be interesting to live in. And I like I said, I create worlds that I would like to exist in, and that's why I write books. I mean, that's why I do what I do, is because I create places that I want to be in. And for Merry Maniacs this month, we also have brand new shirts. So you can see I am wearing, you can kind of see it here. Let me move my mic out of the way. Alright, so it's a brand new Merry Maniacs shirt. So that's available on brand new Merry Maniac shirt that is available on our shirt store right now. And with this particular one, I actually designed it myself. I actually designed all the shirts myself. But with this one, as you see, we have a new logo in the beginning of the channel too, which I also designed, because I've been wanting to do this for a long time, is to take the Bomb character and sort of make him our mascot, and actually sort of make him like a third person on the channel. So that's what I've been wanting to do, and I actually hand drew this out. If you can see the guy here, I actually, just because I was talking about getting back in the drawing, so I got all these nice pencils, I got nice pens, sketchbooks, and actually hand drew this guy out and put him into the computer, and then enhanced him a little bit, and then put him into the thing. So all that stuff you see in the beginning of the video is all hand drawn by me. And at some point I might do a video on here on what it takes to do all that stuff, because it's a very long process. And again, this is the stuff that I love doing. I can spend a week, 2 weeks doing just the intro to this channel. Anyway, that's it. I'm done rambling for the day. Again, I am back. I'm going to be back right now. I'm not leaving anywhere, and I have a couple more videos I want to make for you this month before Vince and I get together and start doing some actual Christmas stuff. And I do have some Christmas stuff of my own I think I'm going to be doing. There's one thing I've been doing. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done. It's not really in Christmas, but you know, again, we're doing semi-Christmas stuff for this month, and so that's it. I'm really glad to be back. Like I said, I missed every one of you maniacs out there, and hopefully you guys are excited about this December. And we have some really cool stuff to bring you for Merry Maniacs this month. And this isn't like I said before, this isn't exactly where we want this month to be right now. So I think next year, probably in the month of November, we'll get working on on the Merry Maniacs for December. All right, that's it. I know I've been rambling. So again, thanks for everything. You guys are awesome, and I will see you next time here on Merry Maniacs.
Brought to you by... No. I'm sorry, but